welcome back to Heartwood Turning in the Stable Studio. Thank you for coming in and watching. Today we're turning a piece of hawthorn and we're mounting it on a woodworm screw. So initially, guys, we're just going to take our 1/2 inch bowl gauge just to get this roughed down a bit, because it has a branch inclusion and it is a crotch piece as well, so you can see the chisel's doing a lot of bouncing about there. So we'll just have to fight with it for a minute or two until we get it into some kind of round. And the lather's running somewhere about 600 revs there.
Well, I got a gal in old St. Louis, one in San Antonio. Come and get it while you can, for tomorrow I'll be gone. And my good gal sitting alone, she hollered her back, Daddy, Daddy, will you come in home? Won't you come on home? Them the gals in Mississippi get along and they talk. Hell, they can recommend just like a cannonball. But hell, I love to watch them fall. Oh, the Mississippi woman, Lord, if they don't beat all. Oh, now, yes they do. Well, I've been looking out my window as far as I can see. I'm looking for the rounders and they're looking out for me. Oh, but why won't they let me be? I'm a high-stepping papa from way down in Tennessee. Yes, I am. Why don't they let me be? Well, she likes to say we shouldn't, but you know we always will. The hollers catch me if you can, runs up over the hills. Well, that's how she gets her thrill, saying that we shouldn't, but she knows we always will. Yeah, she always says we shouldn't, saying that we shouldn't, but she always will. I'm a rolling stone, bound to roam. Come the morning, or I'll be gone. Pouring rain, oh, to hear that train. There she comes. Won't you get on? Won't you get on board?
I'm just finishing off the end, the outside, sorry, not the end, finishing off the outside with a bit of a shear scrape there just to get a finishing cut. And now we're cutting the tenon to hold it into the chuck.
Across the track, don't look back. All the jack won't roll on. City lights, what blinds your eyes? Don't look twice. Go on.
So that's the outside turn. I'm not going to sand it at this stage. I'm just going to reverse mount it into the chuck. We'll get started hollowing the inside. I want to try and get as much material out of this as possible, help it to dry out a bit before we actually start sanding. So we're going to use our 3/8 bow gauge on the inside.
Engineer, where are you headed? Carry me back to Tennessee. Oh, I got a little girl who's been waiting. Promised that she'd marry me. Mr. Can we leave that seat? I'll shovel coal, Lord, to pay my fate. Gotta get this train down to the station. My little girl waiting for me. Well, the night is dark and Lord, it's cloudy. I've been traveling that lonesome road. My one true love waiting there to see.
So the majority of the hollowing I'm showing you here is done at ×2 speed, except for this little bit coming up now. I slowed it down a bit so as you can see the nice shavings coming off, and follow the arc of the tool across through the middle of the bow. And now back to double speed again.
Sending all of his love on down. For the night is dark and Lord is quiet. I've been traveling this lonesome road. My one true love waiting there to see. Oh, that long old train back. Traveling on that lonesome road. My one true love waiting there to see me. For that long old train, won't you carry me? Oh, train, 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 won't you carry me home? Oh. Well, in my absence, I'll be surely missing you. I've been working every day, and I
So we're coming to the end of the hollowing now, and I'm just going to finish off the bottom using a 1-inch negative rake scraper, and I use 60-degree bevel on the bottom and a 30-degree bevel on the top, which gives you a 90-degree included angle. Just give it a light. You can see the tiny little shavings coming off of there, just to try and finish off that bottom before we go to sanding.
On fire burning while I'm gone.
Okay, so here comes the sanding. I'm going to use my drill on this, and a little bit of hand sanding as well. You'll notice I've lost a little bit of bark off the rim. We'll go replace that in a minute or two. So we'll just skip through the sanding. We won't bore you with all the sanding. Just a little finish off some hand sanding round the back and round the edges of the bark. So that piece of bark that was missing there, I managed to find it. It was on the floor, so I'm actually just piecing it together. So I couldn't find a big enough piece, so a little bit of super glue, thin CA glue. We just fix these into place, and there I'm just using a little bit of sandpaper and a piece of bark just to fill in the little gap that was left. The important thing to remember if you're replacing a bit of bark, guys, is don't cut it with a Stanley knife or anything, or a chisel. Just break it, and you'll see. I don't know if you will. You might see. I kind of just broke the edges off it to try and make it look as natural as possible. Now the bit there where you see there's bark missing is actually the branch cut off. That's where we had the branch inclusion. So I just left that. And now currently I'm just using a little bit of thin CA all the way around the bark to try and hold it in place. As this dries out, obviously it will shrink and contract, and hopefully the super glue will hold it in place.
Well, I've been down so long that my mind can't get no rest. No, no, I've been down so long that my mind can't get no rest.
So we're just finishing off that little piece of bark repair with a little bit of hand sanding there. And now we're actually going to leave this overnight now for the super glue to completely set and for this piece to dry out a little bit. This is me back the next morning. Give it a blow off with the air hose to make sure there's no dust, because we're going to use some lemon oil. So just give it a coat of lemon oil whilst it's on the lathe here, and we'll speed that way up. I think everybody knows how to brush on some lemon oil. That's the lemon oil done then, so just dismount this off the chuck, and we need to reverse mount it so as we can turn off the tenon. I'm just using this little jam block with a piece of like router matting. We'll just jam this on with the tailstock support. A little bit fiddly here sometimes getting this bang in the middle, but if you when you make your tenon, if you make sure you've got a hole in it where the tailstock has been before, you can quite easily get it back in the right place. So we're going to use a 10mm bowl gouge just to rough this down, and the technique here, guys, is to work towards the headstock. You'll see it better from the overhead picture, which is coming just in a second. So there we're working towards the headstock. So all the pressure is heading towards the headstock. Even there, where you're rubbing the bevel, you're still using the bevel to push in against the headstock. We'll make this as small as we can, using our 10mm bowl gouge, and then we'll change to a 3/8 spindle gouge just to finely cut this off and nip off the little nub at the end. So lay speed down a little bit. I'll put the stop switch just in front of my knee, and as we're rubbing the bevel, pushing towards the headstock. I've slowed the speed down a bit for you so you can see this. And as soon as the nub stops turning, I press the switch with my knee. And that's that bit done. So in order to get the base completely finished, we're going to sand the bottom. We've made a little homemade mandrel, if you like. So it's just a scrap piece with this hole drilled through the middle, the size of your arbor, and then a slot cut on the bandsaw. So when you mount it in the chuck, it squeezes back on and grips the mandrel. So again, I quickly skipped through the sanding there to save you having to be bored watching sanding. And we'll just give this another coat of lemon oil just to finish off the base. I'll take it into the house after and put its burn my maker's mark on with my laser. Give the thing another coat, a complete coat of lemon oil. And there we have a finished piece. And Maurice the mouse is having a watch. So there you are, natural edged dish made from a wet piece of hawthorn. Let's hope it stays together. Thank you very much guys for your time watching, and if you wouldn't mind to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and if you love it if you would leave a comment, and if you have any questions, stick them in the comments. That's it for tonight guys. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time. See you next week hopefully. Bye everybody.